Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Angling and Arrows. And this one is just a little touristy thing you can do if you find yourself here in Newfoundland, or if you're a local and want to check out something different that you've never done. I took my sister up to the Colony of Avalon, which is located in the town of Ferryland on Newfoundland and Labrador's Avalon Peninsula. It's a colony that was settled in the 15th century by Europeans. It has a vast amount of history, and in the past 25 or 30 years they've started doing some archaeological digging there. On site you'll find a museum, some of the unearthed communities, as well as a dinner theater and a gift shop. So make sure you check it out. This short video will give you an indication of what it is to see, but to get the full effect of it you'll have to visit it for yourself. So thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to Angling and Arrows on YouTube and Instagram. And also, as another quick note, we're getting close to our 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you're subscribed for a part of the giveaway that's going to be coming up later this year or early next.
It's kind of like a little pool area. Well, that's why we call it the pool.
Right, makes sense.
But you can see like the natural armour of land that was originally there. So as you're sailing in the 1600s, and later on we'll show you the only entry into our port. You can come along here in 17th or 16th century, and you're coming along, and there's just a big rock wall there in the colony, and every building is connected. And you can also see the palisade walls surrounding it. How many people come in and say, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's our garbage box." But the reason why we stop here is just because this is the Breen's house. This generous family actually allowed the archaeologists to do test holes in this area, and they actually found the beginning of what we call Main Street, the cobblestone road, and it's the full road that goes right through the colony. And back now, when we go over there at the end of the tour, we actually look back to this orange shade, and that's the exact length of the colony road. And also too, here we stop here to give you an example of the size of the colony. So the colony would have been 4 acres large and surrounded by a 7-foot palisade wall. House here, that's private property.
Yeah.
In 1963 there would have been 3 more houses, just on top of all this stuff. They didn't know what was underneath them.
Yeah.
And his name was Wilford Costello. So he started like digging in his yard and stuff like that, like he would with vegetables and stuff, and he started finding out these little things, little interesting things he was calling them. So he said, I found a few, like let's bring it out to Memorial University at the archaeology. So that's where Dr. Jim Tuck was working at the time. He was head archaeology. So he said, well, let's take a look into it. And he said, like, we know there's a settlement up there, we just didn't know exactly where, and we believe we found it now. So it actually took quite a long time to actually start digging here. They never started digging till 91. So like 65 they kind of realized there's something here.
But they didn't
91
dig it
they started digging.
Right.
And we're only 40% excavated currently.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Rock arrowheads from the Beathic stage, a couple of stone fireplaces and stuff, but there's not a lot of evidence of the Beathic here. We do have a student coming from Memorial University to do more test holes and more information about the Beathic here. And in here you can see the uncovering a little bit of the cobblestone road. And later on we'll be able to walk on it down here.
wonder why they never stayed. It's because it's the 29th of June and 2 degrees. No wonder they all left. Just saying.
So in this area here, back there where you see number 4, this here is called a storehouse. The reason for it being a storehouse is because there was never a source of heat. You would have needed a heat source in any kind of dwelling in that area. So I still have a roof over my basement. And then here you can also see like a V formation in the cobblestone road. That's called their drainage systems. They all kind of lead back to the Privy. We'll show that to you later. And then as you follow down this cobblestone road here, you can see this wooden building. This is called a tenement stone building. Then in the back, as you see this wooden structure and the indent, originally it would have been built out of stone. It was believed to be the main kitchen for this big house, this big stone structure. They know it was a kitchen just because of the animal bones that were scattered around the fireplace, the broken plates, all the pottery. There was also a freshwater well found directly next to the fireplace, so it's kind of a prime location. You have water, you have your heat.
So the kitchen wasn't in the house?
No, but...
So what was the house? Someone sleeping?
So the house would have been right here. All the ground would have been built up a little bit because after excavating it. But there was originally a pathway leading from the kitchen to the top level of this house. And just below the kitchen, behind this rock wall, we can see it border up now because it's quite dangerous. But in there was 2 holes. Now they did get 6 to 8 feet in and they had to kind of fill it in because it got too dangerous. But right there is what we call the buttery and the cellar. So that would have been where you store, of course, all your preservatives and all that stuff for the winter and the summer. Most of the poorer people and less fortunate would have had either just wooden shutters or animal skin. Quite cold. Again, they know they had a wooden floor because they have everything laid out exactly where the staining in the soil would have been. Over here, as you can see, this indent would have been a big fireplace. Now they know that it had a second story, so actually they did find remains of the upper fireplace in the lower fireplace. Bellies, boats, everything.
So those bricks are original too to the dig?
Yes. Now sometimes they do disintegrate, but we have so much red brick that was discovered here. They just kind of put it back.
Well, I guess you wouldn't put anything on the boat coming over that you didn't need once you got here, would you?
No, once they got here and they went back with all the fish, whatever they didn't need, they just left here. And of course the colony and the settlers here would take it. But here, this is called the Waterfront. As you can see, it's not touching the water right now, but this piece of land here wouldn't have been here during that century or during that era. This natural piece of land that would have been here. So it was in 1600s as you're sailing in the big boats, you would come around. And you actually, in order to get into the colony, you would actually have to go around and come in. So the big boats here, put it into perspective. So these big boats here would have actually sailed in and docked up right here. So there would have been a lot more water.
So if they docked here, what were those rock walls?
That was pretty much the wharf. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they just come in this little slipway kind of.
Yeah, because this wouldn't have been here, so they would have been able to come right in.
Yeah. Pay attention, Steve.
This is what we call the Privy. So all those drainage systems would have been aligned to come down here to the Privy. In the rear of the Privy, you can see a rectangle opening. That's where most of the waste would have came through. And also just below sea level, you can see it now, but there would have been another opening. So here in Ferryland, we like to say we had the first flushable toilet in North America. We only flush twice a day. It's a tide. Now down in this Privy, they also found a lot of evidence because again they took a bit of sample of the soil and sent it for analysis. They found out the health of the people that were here. They had ringworm, whipworm, roundworm, tapeworm, any kind of worm you could get. They were pretty sick. But they also found a leather shoe. It's on display in our museum, and a wooden wheelbarrow without the wheel. In the 16th century, the only safest way into our harbour would have been the Narrows, just out here. And all these little islands that you see here, they're actually kind of like an iceberg. You only see a little bit of it, and underneath they're all connected with a reef. Right along, right to the opposite side of the harbour. So in the 16th century, didn't have the technology just on the boats to actually see how much depth you had left. So the only way into harbour would have been the Narrows. Yep. In the entrance, it would have been.
What that fence is called?
This is called a Waddle Fence. The way I remember it is because all these sticks, you gotta waddle back and forth into these. the wiggle fence. The wiggle fence, these sticks actually would have been going up and down, like you kind of wiggle up.
Very good.
Wiggle up and down, yeah.
I did not know there was a different name in the two fences.
I did not know either till I came here. 17th century kitchen. I think Kristen's on today. There's a lovely fire going.
Good times from heat in Ferryland.
So thank you guys for being a lovely couple, and I'll hand you off to Krista. Hello.
Oh,
Thank you, Colony.
thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure to tour. Hey everybody, thanks for watching our brief tour of the Colony of Avalon and Newfoundland's Avalon Peninsula. It's one of the spots you should visit if you're ever in Newfoundland, or if you're local and haven't been here. There's a lot of history here, and the guided tour is well worth doing. The archaeological dig and the artifacts are fantastic and so well preserved. I recommend that you come see it. Thanks for watching everybody, and make sure you check out the rest of our Angling and Arrows videos on YouTube and Instagram.